calls us to awaken in him. How will he find us when he comes?
Awake and ready.
And when he asks us to dedicate our lives even more perfectly, how will he find us?
Awake and ready.
Let's begin with the prayer. Heavenly Father,
Heavenly Father,
Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
Friend, beloved God,
Friend, beloved God,
Great Masters,
Great Masters,
Jesus Christ,
Jesus Christ,
Babaji Krishna,
Babaji Krishna,
Lahiri Mahashaya,
Lahiri Mahashaya,
Swami Shri Yukteswar,
Swami Shri Yukteswar,
beloved Guru,
beloved Guru,
Paramahansa Yogananda,
Paramahansa Yogananda,
saints of all religions,
saints of all religions,
humbly and joyfully we bow at thy feet.
humbly and joyfully we bow at thy feet.
O Divine Mother,
O Divine Mother,
fill our hearts with your love,
fill our hearts with your love,
our soul with your joy,
our soul with your joy,
our mind with your wisdom,
our mind with your wisdom,
and teach us to share your love, joy, and wisdom
and teach us to share your love, joy, and wisdom
with all whom we meet.
with all whom we meet.
Beloved Guru,
Beloved Guru,
Master,
Master,
help us to attune ourselves with you
help us to attune ourselves with you
and to open our hearts,
and to open our hearts,
that you may come in
that you may come in
and take charge of our lives
and take charge of our lives
and bring us home
and bring us home
in this lifetime.
in this lifetime.
Om.
Om.
Peace.
Peace.
Amen. Please be seated.
The way to perfection is narrow and steep. The bypaths are many, the pitfalls are deep. By theory alone, many think to arrive. Here's one who could teach them if he were alive. A philosopher stepped into a boat, the river to cross would he. So learned was he thought no man could be half so clever as he. Singing wise, oh, with his book so, such a mighty scholar was he. Singing wise, oh, with his book so, such a mighty scholar was he. To the boatman he said, good man, pray tell, of the German philosophers three, Schopenhauer, Hegel, and Kant, whom you deem the wisest to be. Singing wise, oh, with his book so, such a mighty scholar was he. Singing wise, oh, with his book so, such a mighty scholar was he. Please excuse me, sir, the postman said, I've not read your philosophers three. All day I'm obliged to ply these oats to support my family and me. Singing wise, oh, with his book so, such a mighty scholar was he. Singing wise, oh, with his book so, such a mighty scholar was he. In that good case, my good man, your wretched life is as good as a quarter lost. Why, without those writings of those three men, not a shelf of books would I trust. Singing wise, oh, with his book so, such a mighty scholar was he. Singing wise, oh, with his book so, such a mighty scholar was he. Now then tell me, good man, the scholar said, have you studied the Frenchman Descartes? I've told you before the other night, I'm on school, hard work is my art. Singing wise, oh, with his book so, such a mighty scholar was he. Singing wise, oh, with his book so, such a mighty scholar was he. Hard work, what of this? Sad foolish man, half your life has been thrown away. Yet, still a fragment might be redeemed. Memorize one theory a day. Singing wise, oh, with his book so, such a mighty scholar was he. Singing wise, oh, with his book so, such a mighty scholar was he. Of a sudden a storm with raging might did lash that river to foam. Like a
a drifting petal, it tossed their boat till it seemed they'd never get home. Singing wise, oh, this book so, such a mighty scholar was he. Singing wise, oh, this book so, such a mighty scholar was he. Then the boatman cried, my learned sir, what chances are growing dim. 2 questions you've put me so far in this street. Now I'll ask you one, can you swim? Singing wise, oh, this book so, such a mighty scholar was he. Singing wise, oh, this book so, such a mighty scholar was he. I can't swim a stroke, the philosopher cried, as he clung in despair to an oar. Then the whole of your life is lost, my friend. You won't need those books anymore. Singing wise, oh, this book so, such a mighty scholar was he. Singing wise, oh, this book so, such a mighty scholar was he. The poet regrets to say his pen never reached the opposite bank. All that ponderous learning inside his head gave him weight, you see, and he sang. Singing wise, oh, this book so, such a weighty scholar was he. Singing wise, oh, this book so, such a weighty scholar was he. Singing wise, oh, this book so, such a weighty scholar was he. Singing wise, oh, this book so, such a weighty scholar was he.
David. Oh my goodness, so good to see you.
Hi, Paul. How you doing?
Hi. Great. Okay. Well, we've got a good topic today, and they're always good topics. This is always a timely topic. Do you need a guru? Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda. Many people scoff at the idea of having a guru. True to human nature generally, they make a virtue of their scoffing. I am responsible for what I do, they announce. Responsible for my mistakes as well as for my victories. What would I ever learn if I handed over my development to someone else? To depend on another for guidance would be an act of spiritual cowardice. It would be understandable for someone gifted with some trivial ability, for instance with words, to insist on doing his crossword puzzle himself. That's funny. Okay. Without letting anyone else help him. But supposing even in trivial matters he had no such gift, what virtue would there be in refusing to learn? For that matter, moreover, where do our gifts come from? They are not a native ability. Still, crossword puzzles are hardly an important challenge. What if a person wanted to do something daring, to climb a cliff, for example, but refused to study the art of mountain climbing? He would climb at the risk of his life. And how much more risk than physical life in the great adventure of the divine search, where the risk is to salvation itself? Where is the sacrifice in seeking guidance? Even a mountain guide wouldn't presume to do one's climbing for one. His purpose would be only to help the neophyte to climb safely. To have a wise guru is not a sign of weakness, but of plain common sense. All the saints, aware as they are of the hazards of adventure, agree on the importance of having a guide or guru. And these are the heroes speaking, not cowards or spiritual weaklings. Jesus emphasized the importance of having a teacher by asking John to baptize him. In the Gospel of St. Matthew, chapter 3, we read of his coming to John. Thus Jesus said to John, "It becometh us to fulfill all righteousness." In the Bhagavad Gita, the 4th chapter, Sri Krishna says, "Open thyself to those who have attained wisdom. They will be thy teachers. Ask questions of them, both verbally and mentally. Serve them faithfully and with devotion." How is the devotee to recognize one who has attained wisdom? The Bhagavad Gita gives us this inspiring description of the sage. By this sign is he known, being of equal grace to comrades, friends, chance comers, strangers, lovers, enemies, aliens, and kinsmen, loving all alike, evil or good. Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It is so wonderful to be here and to see everyone. So as you heard from Paul, our topic today is, do we need a guru? So I wanted to start, this is, I don't know if you have seen this, I'm sure some of you have seen this. This is another book that Master wrote after he wrote From Whispers from Eternity. It's a collection of his poems, and some of them I think overlap with the Whispers. This is called Songs of the Soul. And he writes, "When I'm only a dream, I come to tell you all of him, and the way to encase him in your bosom, and of the discipline that brings his grace. Those of you who have asked me to guide you to my beloved's presence, I warn you through my silently talking mind, or speak to you through a gentle significant glance, or whisper to you through my love, or loudly dissuade you when you stray away from him. But when I shall become only a memory, or a mental image, or silently speaking voice, when no earthly call will ever reveal my whereabouts in unplumbed space, when no shallow entreaty or stern stentorian command will bring from me an answer, I will smile in your mind when you are right, and when you are wrong, I will weep through my eyes. dimly peering at you in the dark, and weep through your eyes perchance. And I will whisper to you through your conscience, and I will reason with you through your reason, and I will love all through your love. When you are able no longer to talk with me, read my whispers from eternity. Eternally through it I will talk to you. Unknown I will walk by your side and guard you with invisible arms. And as soon as you know my beloved and hear his voice in silence, you will know me again more tangibly than you knew me on this earth plane. And yet, when I am only a dream to you, I will come to remind you that you too are not but a dream of my heavenly beloved. And when you know you are a dream, as I know now, we will be ever awake in him. Such is a guru. So, somebody had asked once Swami Kriyananda, Swamiji, do we really need a guru? And he said, of course not. Who told you you need a guru? And then he paused and says, unless you really want to find God. So such is the nature of our creation as we look around, that we find every single realized soul has found God through another channel. Through another channel, another human channel. Maybe not in physical body, but through another human channel. And you wonder, why is that? And the answer that I found in my own mind was this: we being the finite, we are the finite form. Even though we know for now, temporarily, we are housing and we are so limited in our finite body and mind. How can we take that leap to the infinity? We have to go through something that is understandable by our finite mind. Another form that helps us make that connection. And that form is that channel, that divine channel. And the scriptures say that we don't choose our guru, the guru chooses us. And the reality is that when our human souls yearn to know the infinite, and the yearning grows deeper, we start to magnetize books, and we start to magnetize talks. And then when we are really serious and we say, God, I really, really want to know you, they say it takes millions of blessings. It's the highest blessing possible to have a Sadguru, a true guru in this lifetime. Why? Because that's our only way out. And so the guru may be in the physical form, may not be in the physical form. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But it is important, and this is important to keep in mind. It's really important that there has to be a physical touch involved, and that is through the channels that the guru leaves behind him. So we receive the touch of light. Some of us have received the touch of light directly from Swami Kriyananda. If you did not, that is fine, because you get the touch of light from others who have been touched by him. And perhaps you will also continue that touch of light. And such is this path, and it continues. But it is important to get that physical touch. However, the attunement to the guru, and this is a whole topic that we can spend hours on, attunement to the guru, because that is the most important. The guru doesn't need to be around us physically. In fact, when Master was in the body and he was in the ashram, the nuns used to say, visitors would come and say, because he was a very gracious personality, a very sweet personality. He would make jokes, and he would be this wonderful guest. He would host his guests, and the guests would be charmed by him and would say to the nuns that, oh, you guys are so lucky. You have him with you, and he must be doing this with you all the time. And the nuns would say, no, he hardly even talks to us. Why is that? And you wonder. Because he wants us, his disciples, who was with him in body or not, he wants us to to develop that very strong channel, that inside channel. And I think Swamiji has said this, that it's so much harder, it's so much easier for you guys because you haven't lived with Master. So all he is to you is all inside. But for us, to have him sit in front of us and to have to go in, because that's what he used to say. There was one disciple who used to take millions of pictures all the time. And I think he first didn't tell him anything, but one day he went to his room and saw all these million pictures on his wall of himself, and he said, why waste the time? Go inside. Find out who I truly am. I'm not those pictures. And I'm probably paraphrasing here. So attunement to the Guru is what basically gives us his grace. And Guru gives us, so some people would say, I can read the scriptures. Why would I need to have a person to tell all that to me again? I can read. And the answer to that is there are many reasons. First of all, we all know, maybe some of us have taken online classes, we know the difference between an online class and taking a class with a teacher in person. That's the first reason. A person brings his or her magnetism, and you are in their aura, and hence you learn. We don't always learn through words, hearing and listening. We are also absorbing, and we probably are not aware of that all the time. But there's a lot of learning that happens just by being in that vibration. And that's what the Guru is. And if he is so, he's a physical entity. Even if not that, he being in our lives, he's always giving us the right prescription. So the scriptures are like the generic, how we have something happen to us, and the first thing we would do is go to the internet and check, okay, this trouble is happening, what is the remedy to this? And they give you a remedy. It's a generic remedy. You, the person, is very specific, and that's the Guru's job. He is writing specific prescriptions, spiritual prescriptions for us, and it's coming directly from him. Have no doubt in your mind. If you are attuned to a Guru and you are devoted to him and you're calling out to him, whatever is happening to you is coming directly from God through him. And Master used to say this, and we know this to be true. He has several times, he would come in and be that lawyer that is bargaining with God and saying, you have to do this for this person. It's all our past karma, true. But Gurus can come in and work for our behalf. Sister Gyanamata, her karma was to pass away 20 years earlier than she did. But Master came in and said, I have worked it out with Divine Mother, and you are going to be in body, and you will not leave your body till I say yes. And that's what happened. And she suffered physically, tremendous suffering. But doesn't matter. What she got at the end was salvation, freedom, complete freedom. That's what Master said. And her last words were, oh, this is too much bliss, too much bliss. And Master said that he saw her become one with the infinite. So such is the promise of the Guru. So again, and I think this is typical of not only the West, I think it's of all worldly minds, is to doubt that, okay, so if I ask this person to be my Guru, and I have to listen, so he's going to demand my obedience, and I'm going to lose my self in him, or even worse, going to become like him, so I completely lose myself. No such thing at all. In fact, Master look at God's way of working. He will wait for eternity if you turn around. He's never going to, I wish he did that. He would come here and say, look into me and become one with me, but he doesn't demand our attention. He will wait. That is the nature of the creation again. Free will. We are given our free will. And such is also the Guru. And Master, even he says in this poem and other poems that he writes that I will never impose myself on you. I tell you whatever to do because you've asked me to. You've shown interest, and that's why I ask you to. If you don't want me to come around and tell you what to do, I'll wait. And so that's the first thing we have to, which brings us to the really open thing, is we have to take that first step. Ask and you shall be given. Always. We have to ask our Guru, we have to ask God, we have to open ourselves up. Only then He can come in. There's a pretty interesting story about how a Guru works through the openness of our mind. So there was this lady, I think she had lost her husband, and her only child, the son, had a lot of money. They had inherited a lot of money, but he was just wasting it all away. And she was in despair, and she had a guru, and she went to Guru and said, Guruji, can you please help this child of mine? He is drinking, he's going to all the wrong quarters, and he's just squandering all the money. At this rate, we'll have nothing left. So he said, okay, send him over to me. And so this young man, he comes, and the Guru doesn't even try to talk to him in spiritual terms. He's saying, okay, young man, so what is the best drink available in town these days? And he says, so which one do you like? And he talks about, no, actually I like this one. And they have this very strong conversation going about the best whiskey in town. And then he said, okay, so which are the quarters you visit? You should try that one out. And the son is perplexed, and then he kinds of easing into it, and he finds himself having a good time with the Guru. And he comes back to his mom and said, I had no idea you had such an interesting Guru. Guess what? We talked about these things. And the mom was shocked. Anyways, so this guy goes to sleep. Guess what? Next morning he wakes up and he's a different man. How did that happen? When the guy relaxed, because he was talking, the Guru was talking in terms of his way of life, he relaxed. And in that relaxation, his master was able to step into his life and take charge of it. So openness of mind is very important. Attunement, as we also talked about a little bit, attunement is extremely important. The willingness is extremely important. Another story, so this I think was told to Swami Ananda. This lady from India, she took Diksha, you say Diksha, in a discipleship from this Guru. And she had a family, she was very busy, but she said after she took the discipleship from the Guru, and the Guru had instructed her to wake up, because she has a very busy life, wake up every morning at 4 o'clock and do these practices. And she would say that every morning, and gives me the chills, every morning, a few minutes before 4 o'clock, she would hear these sounds, and these are wooden sandals that many saints would wear in India. These are called karams. And so she would hear the sound of these wooden sandals walk up to her room, and she would wake up and she would do her practice. And then he said, in the many years, as happens to all of us, things got a little lax, and I was a little tired and couldn't wake up, and those shoes would come, and then gradually I wouldn't wake up, I wouldn't be able to wake up, and then they stopped coming. And this is the nature of the Guru. Sorry, I get emotional. So receptivity and being firm in our practice, that's what brings the Guru's grace, because the formula is very clear, and I'm sure all of you have heard the formula. It's 25% our effort, self-effort, the waking up and doing it, and 25% is the Guru's grace, and 50% is God's grace. However, we are reminded, it looks a little bleak, right? Just a quarter, and this whole thing is in our hands? Not quite. The way it works is when we put 100% of that 25%, we get the rest. We take one step, God takes 2 steps towards us. He's waiting. He has everything except our love. So when we show a little bit of love for Him, He's hungry, as Master used to say. He would come. So we are running a little low on time. I definitely want to talk about a few things that we need to keep in mind. So what does a disciple look like? Who is a good disciple? In other words, how can we become better disciples? The first one is to have faith, to trust the Guru. So not blind faith. Master said, never have blind faith. Always test it out. So take your time, plumb the plumb and check where you're going. But once you've found the home in your heart and you know this is my home and this is my Guru, stick to him and have full faith. And things might not work out in the way you think. In fact, you won't even understand what's going on, but he knows. And have faith in that he knows. The next one is openness. So we already talked about that. To be open to him, to allow him to take charge of our lives, to be humble. And with that openness and humbleness, we are also encouraged, as Krishna is saying, sincere questioning. Constantly question. Be creative. Put the energy out. Do your best. So that's your little 25%. You're exploring. You're getting answers. You're being sincere. And you're working your best, your hardest. And finally, humble service. Now, all of us will ask, but I don't get to serve my Guru. You know, we think when we say serve Guru, we think about a place like this, a place of worship. Not necessarily. He's saying, serve me anywhere you go. In fact, there was this man in Seattle. Swamiji says, he said, I think he was a businessman, a very successful businessman and a devotee. And he would say, my meditation will start from 6 p.m. when I come back from work and I close my door and I sit down to meditate. And Swamiji would say, what a waste. So what do you do with the rest of your day? The thing is, we can, whatever, yes, the meditation is important because that's where the battery is getting charged. That is where we are actually experiencing whatever we are experiencing. But it's also important to bring that experience in the cold day light of the life that we live. That's how we serve the Guru. Constantly asking him, being in touch with him. And being that light, we don't realize that we are a little light. Each one of us have a light within us. And Guru is telling us, go out, share that light. Because guess what happens? A beautiful thing happens when we share that light. It gets stronger. It starts to burn a lot stronger than before. As we give, so we receive. Swamiji taught us to bless him. Because people were getting like, Swami, we need blessing, we need blessing. You don't really receive blessing when you're asking for it. You need to bless. And in that process of blessing, we receive. We have to empty ourselves out first. And only then we receive. So I'll end with a story about service. So there was this disciple in India, and he came to his Guru's ashram. He was a young boy. And the Guru looked at him, took him in as his disciple and said, your job will be to go and get the wood for the ashram every morning. So that's all he did. He would go to the nearby forest, would cut wood all throughout the day, and then he would come home in the evening and he would have the wood for the ashram. And day in and day out, he would do this. And then one day, I think his hair gets caught in the wood, in one of the wood, and he looks down, and he was near a water body. I think he was close to a lake. And as he looks down, he finds, I think his hair gets caught, and the hair comes out, and he notices for the first time the hair has grown white. And then he realizes he hasn't looked at himself in all these years, so he rushes to the nearby lake, and he looks down and he sees he's become an old man. And tears start coming down his cheeks, thinking, what have I done with my life? I've done nothing. I haven't done anything. All I did was just get food. So he rushes back to the ashram, and he calls out to his Guru. And the Guru comes out, and as his tears are coming down, he comes and holds his tears and says, don't let this tear drop on the floor, because a devotee like you, if your tear falls on the ground, we will have famine. It will bring us bad luck. We'll have famine for 8 years. And but why are you crying, my dear child? And he says, well, Master, I haven't done anything. All I did was I brought wood from the forest. And his master said, don't you worry. Thereby you have earned your realization. And he touched him on his forehead and he went into samadhi. What does this story tell us? That it doesn't matter what we are doing, it is how we are doing. Are we serving our Guru in our hearts? Are we doing whatever we are doing the best that we can? Are we seeing Him in everything that we do? Are we attuned to Him? Are we asking for His grace constantly? Then it doesn't matter what we do. All you could be doing is cutting wood throughout your life, but you would be moving towards God by His grace.